Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 2023-2024 proposed budget meeting. Meeting is now called to order. Clerk Pittman, could you please call the roll? Here.
Councilman Palmer,
Here.
Councilman Ashby,
Here.
Councilwoman Robinette,
Here. Here.
Councilman Lipta,
Here.
Councilman Nelson.
A quorum is present. At this time, we turn the meeting over to interim city manager Hampton.
Mayor, Council, it's going to be a pleasure to present our budget to you this year. This is Evan's first budget, so things may be presented a little differently than years past. So myself, Dave, Octavia, will also help Evan tonight because Dave is up. And so what we'll do is we'll start off with Evan explaining the budget and going from there. Evan?
Thank you. It is a pleasure to echo. To you for this year 2024. This year, I provided to you an electronic copy last week on our Sunday, and then for our ordinances, and then I'll also provide a printed copy in the front of you. I did, and I want to quickly say that I did promise this earlier in the week, but due to some corrections and things we were working on, it was today we got it done. A couple of things on the agenda tonight I just want to point out. Number one, the FSB report, the Fund 24-21, that has actually moved to board session 3.
Fund number, which one? 24-21?
Yeah, yes, that's correct. Very bottom, so that was before.
What page are you looking at?
We don't have page numbers.
Yeah, and you probably don't have that in.
We don't have this.
We'll get you a copy.
I did,
Okay.
I did say.
We'll get you a copy.
So
Okay,
that's gonna
thank you.
be moved to what session?
Yes, ma'am.
That wasn't in the one we received, the FSBD and the farmer's market.
Say
The-
that again?
They weren't included in what we received via email, and I don't see it here, unless it's somewhere else.
Is it, the date wasn't included or?
No, the budgets
budget? Oh,
themselves.
okay. Evan, we'll make sure we get
Okay.
that to you.
Okay, if it was somewhere else, then I apologize.
You go ahead. So the tabs that you have in here?
Yes, I'll.
Okay, all right.
The tabs I do have, and as I put together, using the tab, we have here, I have to order too many different things. So the first section has the overall revenue and expense reports budget, and then the first tab is going to be all of our general administration operations, like clerk, HR, IT, finance, economic development, and code. And then that includes city manager and citywide. Second tab there is going to be your public safety, which is police, fire. Third tab is public works, including garage. And 71 will be there as well. Last tab, the second to last tab will be all parks, dash 72, 73, 74, 5. The very last tab will be capital. That's how that's outlined. All of those do not have the table copies. Okay. Did that answer your question?
I think so, just to go back and make sure I got it right. General operational, public safety, public works, parks and capital.
I would like to do one little amendment, if we could, to this budget, since Dave's been here every night to about 8 or 9 o'clock. I would like to see, after you do your budget work session binder and revenue funds, that we could go do parks so Dave can get home. I'm good. I mean, he's been here to 8, 9
I
o'clock
know,
each
but
night.
he's smiling.
Yeah, because he wouldn't expect me to do that. He definitely didn't expect that. So, but we want to take care of our employees. So, Evan, you're up.
So revenues, page, at the very top, third line, I'll say combined savings revenue, so spending one more down. I'll take it. Thank you. Under the FY 24 budget, we're looking at, for revenues total, we're looking at $24.6 million. And that's compared to, our total expenses, 24.62. So we actually have a surplus of 57,947 for the budget year that we're proposing. Some items that I do want to go over. The reason this is different, what we usually said on Sunday was that we went back to the line by line, revisited revenue items, relooked at forecast models. We still are showing a 1% increase on the revenue lines, because again, as I stated last Friday, because the economy and where we are, we feel like 1% is the best approach. It still gives us, it still increases our revenue to cover our expenditures. So we feel it's still a good solid number. And we feel like it's a lot better accurate than the first one we sent.
Where are you showing the 1% increase? Which area? I mean, I see.
That's what we use to increase our plan.
Oh, okay, I'm with you now. So it was just an overall calculation. All right.
Yes. When we did the forecast. If you go to the next page, there's key things on the revenue, on the revenue detail by source. The first one we will look at is the 56,100 real estate. Real estate we're projecting it to decrease a little this year. I know the property value went up, but it is a non-assessment year. As Councilman Palmer pointed out earlier in the discussion, that it is a non-assessment year, so property values, taxes are not going to necessarily go up. We'll be interested to see what our tax levy is going to do this year. When we present that in September to you, and I would imagine we'll probably see a bigger increase for next fiscal year in real estate. Delinquencies have gone up a little bit. Again, we're projecting 1% increase on that. That's been steadily increasing over the last year. Personal property, we are, and that is again the 56103 personal current. We are showing an increase of 438,000. That is a slight increase from last year, because that was an increase going up the last year. 22 was down. 22 was down a little bit. 21, not sure is the reason why, but we were still projecting this. Some other points that say vehicle taxes have gone up. Sales tax for vehicle sales have gone up, and the other biggest additions to this account budget on page 2 under sales tax, under 60145, sales tax. We have included, this does include Prop U and also now Prop M projections. Prop M, we projected around, including those around $200,000, and then Prop U, we included around $444,000.
So Prop M was the pot thing, right?
That's correct, yes.
And we're projecting 200,000 in revenue just from the store over on New Flores.
They can't keep it in stock.
There's the revenue,
So you were saying M is 200,000, and then you said 400,000.
Yeah, right.
So that's an increase of 600 total.
Yes.
So
It
we're,
looks like 400.
because I was gonna say the sales tax shows an increase from
We are showing an increase.
of 3, a little less than.
We are showing that increase. When we did the projected numbers across the board, there was we did the projection, that was what we were showing. We're showing a higher number, but we brought that back down.
Can we go back to the pot tax? I thought it was a 3% tax.
It's,
It is.
You're saying 200,000?
yes.
They're expecting to do $10 million out of that store?
It's not the old store. I mean, there should be, the sales, that's the number that we have. I think it was even closer to 190,000, we projected 200,000. based upon, that we anticipate revenue to go up with that.
Is that part of the pool tax?
Pool tax,
Well, I'm just wondering, I mean, Blake is,
Pam?
yeah, Blake is concerned because we only have the one dispensary in Ferguson.
that would be part of the income, the pool as far as like pool as part of the county goes, yes, I would imagine that would be.
So that would justify the projected increase then. Okay, I just wanted to clarify for Blake.
I don't think, yeah, because I don't think that one store is, you know, I'm a part owner of Greenlight. And I don't think that one store is booked to do that.
Everybody
What's that?
knows. Keep going, Blake.
Well, I just didn't think the store was projected to do that much, where it would generate 200,000 in extra tax.
That's provide growth receipts, so please, from when I was in the business license application, last year. Before it was on free.
It'd be 90,000 at 3%.
Before it was passed, it was projecting like 150. And so since the marijuana was made legalized,
Yeah, adult use.
that's when it jumped.
Interesting. Okay.
The middle tax is $20, which you don't see, is around $530,000. You can see 21 on here, $528,000.
Yeah.
So they're basing on previous years.
You think? Okay.
Those were the key areas that I saw and I wanted to know, in revenues. Again, we're projected to do 678, 806. Any other questions about revenue before I turn it over to, Dave? I'll turn it over to Dave, and we'll go to the second to last tab. Oh, yeah, all right, third tab.
Dark
orange. Third, 10-70.
Wait a minute.
Sorry.
10-7. It's the third one. Mine is Public Works. That's not what you're talking about.
That's correct, but it's also, it is also. Park savings showed as general fund. It's classified as the budget. It's actually in fund 10, general. There is a charge that tax fund. That's why how it's had.
Okay, I see you doing. That's okay.
So there are some corrections on the B as well.
1071. So my first page is 10 administration 13, so I need to go past that, correct?
Yes.
Second to last tab.
I got you. Here it is.
Parks Administration.
$10.71,
Dave, which one are you starting with?
right?
We have.
You guys are struggling a little bit with space, because normally we're out at the tables, but it's better for.
1071, all right, got it.
Mhm.
Good job.
So any of these loose leaf pages, do we need to pay attention to any of these? We do have a 10 seconds.
And
The ones that Evan handed out tonight will replace the one that's in the book.
1071.
Pull all the seventies. We're just having way too much fun over here. Hold on.
I'm still not sure what I'm looking for, where I see 1020.
We got 1071, 1023, no, 1025.
Yeah. It's like a regular order, it's part of the general.
2075,
Okay. And I take that out.
2074,
Two.
Yeah. I've told this to you.
2073. 2072.
I'm good. Let's go.
Still overhead parking. We budget for 5 full-time parking for 2020. We also budget for 60. Not gonna be filled out. We're down to wearing apparel, which is 02020. It's pretty much flat as last year, but up about 500 dollars. What that accounts for is basically replacing the uniform. We allocate about $375 for the workers. And then we got very volunteer.
So we just went up 500, you said? So we're going through the beach.
Pizza.
Okay.
And some of your B2s might have been marked back. Some of the numbers may not match, but I would. When it comes to our training education, we stayed flat. Conferences stayed pretty flat, actually went down about $200. Memberships, pretty level, we went from 300 to 400. The one that jumps is license and service fees, and this is where all of our alarm systems are housed. I'm making an effort to save money in the long run. Currently, last year and this year. What we put in this budget that's different than last year is upgrade the aquatic facility alarms. So currently we're on landline telephone line, almost 100. I can switch to a cell pack at a savings of almost $95. So the cost is to switch over the system to that, and then we'll see a savings long term on our program, if that makes sense. So $5,000 to install the new alarm system, move it to cell pack, and then get off the landline and get that service.
So, and then I'm sorry, will you get ready to say something?
Go ahead.
So in the long run, it's also gonna be a savings in the cell plan as well. All right, and then the other question I have is the alarm system, is that going to help alleviate situations like we had when the kid climbed over the fence? Is that gonna set?
Taking care of the camera system.
Okay.
When we did our camera install, we actually have fan fountains will be set up in the system. We can text push notifications that area is crossed, so we hot ones can be set up there, fence lines. That river is broken, it'll get instant notification.
Okay,
Plus, we also now keep the water to pool level a lot lower.
1071.
And so we're keeping the water right about 3.5 to 4 feet year round.
it's just not in the summer. In the summer, it's a little deeper. Yeah, okay.
It's cool.
So, like for something like that, why wouldn't that be in the capital improvement program?
Because of the cost factor, so we took care of the community center, event space, concession community center, and Forest Wood out of our equipment budget this year. And it came to a total of about $5,500. We put it in the fiction. For capital, I typically try to keep anything under $10,000 in the general budget and the larger items.
Sure. Thank you.
The membership for the arborist, the position falls under Public Works, right? Do we have an arborist?
It's close to certification.
Yes.
Last I understood, we're probably about 2 months away from being certified.
Okay.
Then we could go back to Tree City.
Correct.
Kept everything in here to go back to Tree City with our licensure, tagging our trees, keeping up the inventory. Everything minus the arborist side of things is still in place for Tree City. We've been on an arborist the past 2.5 years, so we couldn't qualify for it, but that's the direction.
People been asking why Ferguson is not at the meetings.
Another great
The
opportunity.
Next one that we'll look at is repair and maintenance. You'll see this one jumps by probably about $20,000 realistically. If you look at your B2, I put $28,000 in there to replace the water line. You may or may not be aware that the concession stand hasn't had water going on 3 years now. The initial estimate we got was about $40,000 that was running copper pipe. I'm a firm believer we put 28 in there. Put that one.
So that's just basically a healthy place marker.
Correct.
Yeah, and then I know because we had the conversation and Mr. Palmer had brought in the idea of the plastic piping and PVC or whatever it was in a past discussion.
That's what,
Trying to text instead of. There's a couple of variables that we'll get into these, the possibility of water, breaking about what's happening with parking, exploring the spring and the summer. We'll figure out the cheapest of that. Our next one is gonna be our forestry. Oh, sorry. Yeah, building maintenance. for that. Sorry, I moved down.
Where are we at, Dave? What page?
There are no page numbers.
I mean,
So we're.
what is it? 1071, 1051? Where are we at?
1071.
1071, I'm right now on 02066-8061. Building maintenance, community center, which is continued from building maintenance line, that was 65.
806.
There's also B2.
What's this one?
I don't have, I just got
I was talking about the water line, that's the first page of that B2.
Okay.
Second page of that B2 goes on to community center general maintenance, as well as history house and other buildings. Then we move on to equipment repair maintenance, which is after that, it's flat from the year before, actually down about $500,000. Which is mainly repairing equipment, that kind of stuff, you know, house, inventory. The next one is our individual communication line. This is for a cell phone, yearly contract at $700 for 3 years. Next one is ground maintenance. Your B2 is incorrect on this one. We budgeted $59,000. When we look at the B2s, there was a lot of duplication here. We made several cuts. But the total number right now is $59,000. It's going to cover picnic tables, mulch, various landscaping, as well as different paint and trash bags, all that kind of stuff.
So go ahead and change the 79,000 to 59,000.
59,000.
And then when you're talking about replacing these picnic tables, are you talking about the stationary ones? Or are you talking about ones that we can fold up and move around? Okay.
We budgeted $30,000, average picnic table is $8,000. So we're really looking at 4 or 5.
So it says 20 on mine. Should I move that to 30?
Yeah, I was the entire week's incorrect.
Okay.
So this afternoon, this morning, we finished up our cuts, and that's why some of these B2s are not correct. And that was, Dave was part of our last correction. So we'll make sure that everybody's correct.
That's why it's the cover sheet you have is one.
This little trick of the trade for us, you just dog tag that page.
We're getting you all brand new.
So you know which one to replace.
Yeah, we're gonna get you all brand new.
Next one's gonna be the forestry, it is 28,000. There's like 28.5. We took the yearly fee for the laptop off there, it's actually another line that I found earlier, so it's just 28,000. That's down from last year by about.
Okay, question about the 15,000 for the contracted tree removal. Do we know what tree?
Truthfully,
But it's not our job to know, it's their job to do.
Listen to Dave at this point. Turn that way.
I can't tell you exactly what they are. So the West Florissant, Green Park, I'm gonna have to take care of probably 50 trees There, the one that's close to the street, they don't down it, and I think that's what my store is. That's the situation all contracted out, to be professional, take it down. Same thing in parks, something's close to my house, something's close to the right of way, something where it's high population. As our guys are getting more certified, the armor certification, that kind of stuff, we're comfortable, but I want to make sure there's something.
That makes sense. So trees throughout the city, not just in the park.
This is dedicated for parks.
Okay.
This is parks.
Okay, thank you, Dave.
Not a problem. Next one we're gonna go to is outdoor lighting. It's $3,000. Truthfully, it's up by about 1,000 over last year, but we're gonna have, as you know, the lights get broken, lights get replaced, and things just getting aged. So I just wanted to say about this. We're gonna need to repaint a lot of stuff and everything back up. Next, we get into electric, gas, water, all the utility and sewer and so forth. The B2 is very long, very cumbersome. But basically it goes into detail in 86.8 for electric, 23.9 on gas, 57 is to change for water, 19.2 for sewer. We've got about $9,000.
With the electric on all accounts, we are going to be looking at going solar as well. So we will hopefully have these numbers a lot lower next year, but that's one of our projects that we're going to be looking into.
Is the big increase from 2021 actual to 2024 budgeted on the water, is that taking into account the new water line that you're looking at?
In 2021 actual, we didn't go. They caught up with the following year. And so I think, if I recall correctly, in 22, I may have had to actually come to you budget on it, or possibly this year, 23, 60. But I came in front of you. The next one is professional services, which is completely cut out of this budget currently. If you recall, that was our line previously for our contract mowing service, brought back in house, so we're not gonna do that.
We don't,
We won't even have to pay.
okay, so there's no,
Okay,
Office supplies, $500, various pen, paper, boards. Equipment, $1,500. That's to replace blowers, weed eaters, any type of equipment for that. We have $1,500 in there. Hardware and hand tools, we've got $1,000 in there, shovels, rakes, everything we use throughout the daily basis. And then finally, miscellaneous. I'll be honest, I bumped this up to 1,000. I've started doing it at the community center and throughout the rec department, kind of incentives for my staff, so there's gift cards, taking the lunch, that kind of stuff. And that's the kind of stuff I put in this line. You guys know, throughout the summer, people get worn out, ground down, if we could get a meal for them, buy them Gatorade, whatever it is. But that's basically it.
ice cream truck.
And, summer camp especially, we have a barbecue this summer, they can just interact with one another. So I want to make sure we have that.
Good.
So regarding the utilities, did we used to have them all in one? And then we separated them out by like the police and fire and parks? Is that?
Yeah, so they're in one. I think Parks is the only one that we separate different.
Okay.
But everybody else is in there.
Because parts of its own park related.
Oh, okay, right.
Lights, park hours, you can pay out of the park fund,
Okay,
so.
Gotcha. okay, perfect.
Dave, let me ask you a question. You have here Lane Royce concession on 1071. The annual operating budget. The fund is 10, the department 71. When you go, it ends 8127.
Facilities.
The Lane Royce.
Concess.
water, air.
It's right after Langroy's where you have $200. Then you have Langroy's Concess.
Yeah.
Water,
It's water, the way the water line used to run to the rear of the, Forest Park
right,
through the creek,
right.
that's that water.
Okay,
It may not exist anymore with the water line, but it's budgeted based on. creek.
And that may actually be cheaper, or we have to just get into the water line, correct?
Correct.
Because
To be honest, the current water line they ran from Langlois through the creek to that back, because that's the problem, the shortest distance. The
mhm.
problem is not with the depth of it, or the frost line, that kind of stuff, bottom line. So we're trying to pursue different ways. We're moving on to 72 next, 20-72.
It'll be in your last tab.
Be the real part.
Gotcha.
That also, right?
Yeah, I bet, yes.
So 2071, I should have put that over here.
2072 recreation.
I know, but while we were on 2071, I should have replaced that cover sheet.
Actually 1071.
And 2072 is a two pager, right?
That's correct.
Councilman Palmer.
I just wanted to suggest that, I know the pool is already kind of filled, but in future years, there's a way you can get a permit from the water company to use the hydrant. And it's like a one-time fee. Does the fire department have a backflow device for a fire hydrant?
But we can do it through the truck. We just have to work good with the water. company.
So could we get a permit and fill the pool with the fire truck?
We can look into it. yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll look into that, Dave.
When I used to work for a landscaping company, we had a 5,000-gallon water truck and we had permits. We'd strap to the hydrants and you'd fill the water truck with that. And it was a daily permit.
We have done that in the past, and that's something that we'll look into. What, one of my issues right now, also, remember, we only have 2 trucks, so if I don't have to pump right now, I'm not gonna pump the truck. Now, we'll do it on emergency scenes, obviously, but if I don't have to do it for something like this, because that doesn't just take 20 minutes. I don't want to have that wear and tear on some of my pumps right now, because I'm down to 2 pumpers.
I have a 2-inch double check valve. I'm willing to donate to the city if you want it.
For staffing for. Out of 72, we've got my salary, superintendent, 2 supervisors, and then, girl specialist. We have all our day camp staff in this budget, field supervisors, rec leaders, our bus drivers, all that kind of stuff.
We have 4 bus drivers?
We technically have 3 on payroll right now, but we'll get to be the backup. I don't want to get too far.
Dave, are we still looking to sell one of the Jolly Trolleys?
Thought about it, it would be a possibility. If I'm honest, there was a lot of discussion at the get when Eric was still here about getting a regular bus with ARPA funds. I don't believe that's the route we're going currently. So I'm hesitant to sell one without knowing what we're doing, because during the summer we do both of them, the senior transportation, do the second one to shuttle kids, with their day
Right.
camp, that kind of stuff. If I knew we were moving towards a full-size school bus that we could use, then yes, but I don't see that in the next year, so I don't stuff with selling. All right, we'll start with wearing apparel, just like we did the last time. This one is up because additional full-time staff. If you recall, last year, I want to say we had at tops 4 full-time staff. I am sitting right now at 8 full-time staff, so we literally double our full-time staff. One of those positions we brought on is now getting We're gonna focus on a lot of revenue generation, trying to do more revenue-based programs, do our food stuff. We want to have somebody that's kind of pushing the wheel, trying to get revenue-based programs. That's the main reason for repair. And also sometimes, for taking staff t-shirts. Next one we get to is training and education, about $200 up, it's broken down here, these two, three. It's got $400 workshops, and we've got $75 dedicated to full-time staff. We got certified playground safety instructor training in there, which is the examination for playground safety. You know, we've got the CPRP exam. CPRP is certified Parks and Rec professional. Joseph and myself both already have that. I'm pushing Caitlin as well as Ryan and Cindy to get that in the next couple of years. Caitlin is scared. She doesn't know what that is. Certified Parks and Rec professional. Kind of agency standard for accreditation. But I put it in there because I want my. Next one is conferences. When we get to conferences, it is up only because the number and also because the national in here. I budgeted for both Joseph and myself to go to national. I want a caveat in this line. There's no hotel. So we saved money on hotel expense. I thought it was a good opportunity for me just to go to national in Dallas, get extra certification on national level. I wanted a cap level on that this year. I realize it is above about $2,000. The savings for not having a hotel for state. I thought I have to do that. That's the reason for the extension.
Do you drive your own vehicle? Or do you rent a car?
We usually use city vehicles. In Dallas, we do air care. Next one is going to be memberships. These are our yearly memberships for the state organization as well as the national organization. We buy an agency membership fee price to cover all of it. Next one is public reporting. It went up by about $3,000. This is basically just our general brochure we put out 3 times a year. Covers spring, summer, fall, along with some additional advertising for Adobe, community engagement, and then also a Teach Jar, which is what the school district uses to advertise. This year, we worked out a deal with BTC. We do a lot more advertising with them, and we appreciate that. But the school district still has to pay. Next one after that. Going to be.
I have concert series.
I have a question on the mailers.
Yes.
If we were to add a page or two to a mailer, did you have a ballpark idea what that would cost, an increase?
Mailing at the post office, it would be cheaper. If that honest, versus what like the local mailing, that takes consider over the course of but yeah, I'm going to add something. You guys will get into other discussions down the road. I've pitched the idea a couple times with a city-wide brochure versus a parks brochure. I've seen other communities where they have it flipped halfway through, and so you look at it this way, parks, you look at it the other way, it's upside down, it's all city stuff. I would love to do something along those lines. Of course, I don't know if you could do it at the beginning, but we would have to get a full-time staff to kind of those things going, because my people are pretty overwhelmed. There's a lot of opportunities. We already have to deal with this.
That's what I was getting at. So thank you.
We have the community relations concert series, it's up by about $4,000, mainly just for advertising of it. So maybe we want to put things out to people see the concerts, the magnets, the brochure. License service fees going to be next. Is at 15.5, Civic Rec, software agreements, a website domain, Survey Monkey, and a new software called HitCheck. We use our day camps, so we make sure our kids are safe, checking all that. That's all of that. There's nothing in housekeeping this line. All housekeeping comes out of 75, which is the community center. Same with photocopier. You want a system communication, it's a Wi-Fi hotspot, it's $500 per year. Primarily comes out to farmers market, that kind of stuff. We don't have Wi-Fi currently. That's from the field. Next one is communication. This one did go up, to be honest. Individual communications, went from 1,200 to 2,100. Main reason I use my personal cell phone for that. Cell phone for copy of number. So that would be the increase. We have our trolley cell phone, which is existing, program cell phone, we can take on trips, that puts your. We need to cut on all we can, but that's like. Next one is team programs, $12,000. It's up because we've lumped all the other team programs from community center, pool, everywhere else into this one budget line. So anything team related will now come out of 7. So everything got voted. Next one's gonna be cultural programs. This one is covering your dog Easter egg hunt, all spectacular, winter wonderland, all that fun stuff. And this one by itself is $50,000. You'll see 81.3, I believe, on your sheet. That is this one, and your next one, which is 4th of July, lumped together. But they are 2 separate pieces. So we separated 4th of July several years ago, so we knew the cost it was. So the 81.3 you see is those two together. If that makes sense.
So are you guys doing Street Fest anymore?
You've never punished. And out with it, and you never punished.
Okay.
Next feature you have there, like I mentioned, is 4th of July. You got the $20,000 for fireworks, $1,700 for the parade, materials, entertainment, porta potty, children's area. We're planning on doing it a little bit different this year. Everyone's been a part of 4th of July last several years. Plan on doing the parade like normal from 10 to about 2, but then take a break at the end, so they can go home, do their barbecue, do a thing. Everybody come back around dinner time, between 4 and 5. We'll have 2 bands, we'll have kids' activities going on, face painters, all that kind of stuff. We'll have fireworks afterwards. We saw it cost savings and less stress on our staff. They're already coming on holiday, so we'll give them a bit of a break there after you kind of do the thing, come back to the thing, but it's a little cooler. So just be transparent. Next one after this is athletic programs. This is primarily replacing various sport equipment throughout the park system, archery field, volleyball nets, pickleball, basketball supplies, softball. $2,000 in there. We actually put up a little bit, but I think we're after using replacing stuff. Next one is the merchandise resale. It actually went down by $1,000 this year. It's basically various promotional items, that kind of stuff there itself. Tickets is eliminated. This used to be a program where we sell discounted City Flight tickets. Flight doesn't do it anymore. So we took it out of budget. They do it. They don't do it with the Missouri Park and Rec Association anymore. Missouri Parks and Rec do it with a World of Fun, Silver Dollar City, Six Flags got dropped. That's what we got. Next one is reimbursable programs. This one did go up. So in 72, we have budgeted $80,000 this year for this. This is all of our day camp stuff, transportation for day camp, arts and crafts, athletic leagues, special events, that's all lumped in here. This is a line I'll be upfront with you. I may come back at some point for a budget amendment. If my staff is killing it on reimbursable programs and making revenue, this is where everything is coded for the expenditure side of the program. So if we get close to 80,000, we'll bring in 120,000 of programs. I'm probably gonna come back. And say, I think 80,000 is safe.
So mine says 100, so change that.
It's 80. Next one is the senior citizen programs. We only budgeted 19 last year of this, I believe. We budgeted 36. But this is now excursion, monthly bingo, all the training for the drivers, silver speaker events, senior expo, everything's monthly here at 36. When I first started Ferguson, that's part of the regular reimbursement programs. We kind of split it out so we track new programs, 17 programs.
And real quick, and just, and I apologize. So when you look at the 2022s, it shows we spent 0 on that. I'm looking at the summary page for senior programs.
Yes, because we didn't budget anything in this line. So 2022 senior program. No,
I'm sorry, I'm looking at 2023. It says that
Senior citizen program.
It shouldn't be. We definitely have bingos. That should be.
It's budgeted for 36,000. That's the forecast. It's not
Right.
filled in.
So the budget,
Budget was 36,000.
that was the budget last year from this budget. And the 36,000 was what was planned to be spending. And the reason it's a blank is you haven't done an accounting on it yet.
Yeah, and so we're just upping it $500.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
Next one, this lady students our credit card charges and global sales. We started taking credit cards to pool for all of our concessions. We take them pretty much at any location now. So I raised this one because we're based on the percentage of every transaction. I just think that it's a little bit higher. We're always just taking cash, especially in the past. I just see the percentage.
But revenue will go up too, for sure.
Got zero professional services, zero, free materials, we got 2,500. It's basically city envelope, letterhead, business cards, thank you cards, all those things you buy with the city logo on it. Postage, 9,000, again, postage going up. It's the nature of the beast, so 5,000 and 9,000.
Price goes up, service goes down.
Office supplies, the big addition here is office chairs, office furniture. We have more staff, we replaced the chairs, so went up by about $2,000 on that one. First aid supplies came pretty flat, 500. Then again, miscellaneous, like I mentioned earlier, we've got 1,500 in it. That's exactly what we budgeted last year. Any questions?
This is nothing to put in here for this year, but would you consider maybe doing a emergency training program through Parks and Rec for council members like CPR and stuff like
Goes through
that?
the fire department.
Currently go to the fire department, but it's a caveat that I've got 2 full-time staff that are right now going through their instructor courses for CPR and first aid that will do it in-house, not always have to buy the fire department. We don't like to be busy. And we've got about 50 to 75 seasonal part-time staff who can train all the time. So currently our pool managers are certified instructors for lifeguard training. I've got 2 of my full-time staff going for full-time instructors for our first aid. So something we could.
Well, and I'm not just thinking, not just CPR. I mean, I know that they have that, but I'm thinking like overall emergency. I mean, like we live on a earthquake fault. We have bomb shelters all around us and.
I'll take it. That would still be the fire department. We also are part of the emergency management, so, and that should also go with the NIMS training that we should also have. So I will make sure that you get all that. And bring to our
Thanks.
council, not this meeting, but the following one will be the emergency management book for City of Ferguson.
So
St.
we're on the right track, huh?
St. Louis County, we just did about several months ago, training, or thinking about doing a training for neighbors to help neighbors in a case of emergency. We still have to finish that course.
Correct. And plus, we're gonna be starting our cert back up as well.
Right.
So we've all been kind of busy, right?
The only other thing that's housed in 72 that we'll get to later is capital projects. They're listed on the master 72 sheet, but if it's just going quickly, I'll go more detail. We've got about 1.8 million in land and buildings, and that's 3 separate grant projects. We've got the Fourth Wood one still in here. We've got the West Florida Car Wash one still in here. And then next year we'll apply for in August. So we can apply for the park park. These are 3 land and water ones. And we've got about 68,000.
So, so just so I can take note, you said the car wash,
Maybe 2 or 4 billion, the other set of tennis courts, the digital side. And we've got next fall, so I'll bring it to you later, but in my head right now, it's 5 to 5 or 1.
gotcha.
That can change. Any other questions?
What's the process of the kid check? What's that whole process?
I don't know all the details. Understanding it's an ID verification system that will pick up and dropped off. And basically, you have to get your ID scan at the beginning, and then anybody else on that pickup list has to be saying before they're on pick up, drop off the child verification.
So it's an actual program system.
Good.
Caitlin's with. They get. They get.
Yeah, me too, me too, me too.
Any other questions? Our next one's gonna be 73, 20-73, beautiful pool.
Put in a new sheet there.
One is different than any year I've ever been here in my 10 years. I'm trying to make my budgets make sense in my head. So I put my full-time pool person in this budget. Cindy is currently in this budget.
Running the pool,
She's in this budget.
but she's gonna run the pool this year.
Yay. Okay, now. We also have our pool managers, our lifeguards, and our cashiers. We budgeted for 3 pool managers, 25 lifeguards, and 6 cashiers. So, break down the staff. Start with wearing apparel. I want to preface this entire budget with the last 4 years involved in the track. So it's a big lump sum of paying Midwest pools. I had to break it all down. Overall, our budget went from 229 to 269. Major reason for that is a pool up south. So everything money wise, been moving different lines, so I'll go through it line up. So wearing apparel, we've got swimsuits, uniforms, all that stuff, all our lifeguards at 5,000. Training education is our lifeguard training certification, along with our certified pool operator certification, we're at $1,500. Public reporting, $500 for different promotional items throughout the year at pool. Housekeeping, which is our toilet paper, cleaning supplies, everything else, we're at $3,000. A lot of this was brought from the previous company. We did budget a little bit last year, but we're having to do everything. Water treatment, we're at 15,000. Of course, costs went up on everything. This is the best guess based on the numbers we traditionally go through. But we're up from about 11,000 to 15,000 this year on base our chemicals. Pool maintenance supplies, it's all general repair, the pump brakes, chlorinators, pool vacuums, installation, lounge chairs, swim team supplies, that all comes out of here. We're up from $23,800 to $30,000. Main reason for the increase is the new pool vacuum. We're looking at between $9,000 and $11,000 for a pool vacuum. Currently, the one we use, I want to say it was purchased by Matt. Put it that way. Next one we got is our pool program supplies, $2,000. It's actually down $1,000 from last year. Next one is food program. Like I said, we don't have anything. We move it all in one account. Next one is reimbursable programs, $7,500, water weights, goggles, swim diapers, all different stuff that we sell. Nothing in professional services this year because we don't have a contract anymore. Got about $1,000 in equipment, miscellaneous stuff that they have broken, food review center, with things going on there. And then again, I've got $500 miscellaneous for staff incentives, that kind of stuff. Questions about pool? Seeing none. On to 20-74 concession stand. The only staff we have out of concession is seasonal. There are 6 concession stands we put in there, and 10 regular concession aids. The goal for this summer, like I mentioned, is to have at least the pool and the front concession stand, of course, would open. Once we get the water line to the rear one, and we'll hopefully have the rear one open in the fall. That's 3 different concession stands that we run. First one is wearing apparel, $1,000, up from 500. We have additional staff. We haven't had 4 concessions open in 3 years now. So I think that's been a lot because we're having staff. Sure. Repair and maintenance, got 1,200 from last year. Our thing to take over the brakes, we get it repaired, take it over to you. Concession supplies, it's up a little bit. This is our health permits, liquor license. The main reason it's up is because of the hepatitis A shots. Everybody wants to have that shot. We pay for them. but more staff and more shops.
Are you gonna do your sales at both concession stands?
Forestwood, yes.
I would, just from my past experience of many years of being there, I'd prefer that sales stay at the front concession stand. Because the back concession stand, when we've had adult leagues back there and they get drunk, we had a lot of fights break out with aluminum bats. And no, I was there.
No, I
Um,
believe you. I'm just.
And the concern I had then, and I even have bigger now, is that we couldn't get enough response because the police had to come from different directions and come tearing across fields and they would have to tear through games or whatever. So, and then the other thing is too, the poor person who works the concession stand in that back one, if they're dealing with an unruly person, they're stuck out there by themselves. So I would just like to make the suggestion from my experience that beer sales be contained to the front. And if somebody in the back wants to go buy beer, now they gotta work for it. Yeah,
That makes sense. Truthfully, right now, the river steps in, we're not paying to get.
right.
The water line is flooded, so all the equipment got ruined, so this has to be completely refit, so we don't have to.
Well, I mean, you may want to in the, you know, like if you have a tournament or something along those lines, but I just think for daily use, that might be something to consider.
Next one, purchase next to resale, it's up 25 because like I mentioned, 3 consecutive versus 1 previous year. This is all up to 5 to 5, so beer, the candy, the food, everything that's sold comes out.
And real quick, then you've got a matching entry on the revenue side too somewhere, right? You're assuming a higher revenue.
Next one is equipment. Main one here, like I said, the rear concessions are made equipment in currently, so we're replacing quite a bit of stuff. We've got the ice machine, single freezer, quick and crispy, equipment that was ruined in the flood. We may see some revenue from FEMA, I'm not banking on anything at this point.
Well, and this won't be the same way next year because it'll all be purchased this year.
Correct. And then our last one, this one is miscellaneous again. 500.
No.
I'll move on to you. Going to staffing is here, we've got our rec manager, Caitlin, our full-time custodian, we've got 2 rec specialists. Up until this year, we haven't had 2 rec specialists in the budget, but truthfully, we had a couple of part-time folks that were very reliable, we were able to hire them in full-time capacity in our current year, and they made a difference, and I can make that.
So I don't know about the rest of you, but I don't have a staffing page for this.
There's not one.
Okay. Okay.
You don't have the narrative? This one?
Not for this one.
But-
I have 2 of the, 20, yeah, with the 463, 740.
We'll get you this whole.
Oh, that's a good point. Oh, we got 2 of those.
No, I've got.
If you look at your cover sheet, the main offset when it comes to permanent part-time staffing, we budgeted 133 last year. I dropped it down to 80, and then we of course increased the full-time line to offset that. So it's pretty much a wash outside of benefits.
I'm sorry, where was that at?
On the cover sheet, the line list. 75.
Yeah.
So if you look at the permanent part-time staffing last year compared to this year, it was 133.4 last year.
Gotcha.
We're at 80 this year. If you look at the full-time above, we went from 122 to 156. This grows a wash for the office, about 2 full-time staff.
Oh, I see.
And so just real quick, so you had projected 362 and 23, we hit about 265. But now you're projecting 303. So really we're coming down pretty substantially from the budgeted 2023, right?
Overall. Just remember also, we need team programs out, senior programs out, we talked about before. A lot of shift back to 72. If you compare 72, it increased significantly this year in my mind. A lot of it moving from one part.
Thanks.
We didn't have time this year in budget, but I would love to see itemized lines under expenses, revenues, everything for my program, so I don't want to report quickly and compare teams, seniors, all that stuff, just for general purpose. aspiration. Wearing apparel, it's up again, full-time staff, went from 1,600 to 2,500. Training education, again, just training for the staff. Put about $125 per person on staff there, including custodian. I'm trying to send Marvin over to John out in Bridgeton to get some certifications when it comes to this cleaning. Chief will attest to it. Right now, he goes to other buildings, triple wax floors, change the carpet. But the more we can do it out, the more we save. So, you go ask that. Next one is conferences. We went up a little bit because of full-time staff. Again, this is a state conference with full-time staff. We got one meal vouchers, registration fees, that kind of stuff. So 1,900 strong.
So didn't we have conferences in the other 72? Are these different conferences?
Same conference, I budget by employee conferences. So if the employee comes out of 72, I put the conferences in that conference line. The employee comes out of 75, I put it in this conference line, so it corresponds. Yep. Memberships, like I mentioned earlier, it's association membership, the entire team, so we're nothing in that line for this one. Public reporting, pretty level from last year, about $1,000, especially brochures, that kind of stuff. Community relations, kept it at 500. Housekeeping, up $1,000, just because of general cost increases, went from 19,000 to photocopier adjusting, repair and maintenance. We've got 6,000, same budget as last year. It's basically we're hoping to do some fitness equipment, floor maintenance, carpet repair, wall repair, and miscellaneous repairs throughout the building. Team program, like I mentioned earlier, has been moved. Athletic programming went down 1,000, 2,500, 1,500. If you recall, 72 went up, offsetting. Merchandise for resale. This one's one that we could cut 10,000 if we decide to. It's a new vending machine. I've become a vending machine expert. I don't want to be. I fixed dollar bill exchangers, change machines, all kinds of stuff. I replaced the whole panel about 2 months ago. I would love to buy a brand new. Last two bought been used. This is $10,000 to buy a brand new machine that hopefully it works great. We don't have to repair it. But if we cut it, we can't. It's all good. It is source of revenue for a special day camp.
Do you have any idea what percentage of revenue we make against its costs, or how much revenue we make in dollar amount?
I don't off the top of my head. I want to say that I don't. I want to say it's like 4,500 to date for this year. Average spending between 5,000 to 6,000. So
Almost a wash. Okay.
Next one we got reimbursable program. Reimbursable program, we have $50,000. Technically, your B2 says 60. This is the place we made a cut kind of late in the game, so we got $10,000 out of here. But this is where our fitness program, supplementary class, like I mentioned, all the supplies and stuff we need for classes comes out of this line any cost. So we dropped that to $50,000. It is up from last year. Like I said, we're trying to run more cost-based programs.
You moved the team stuff to all one thing?
Yeah.
Okay, because it shows 10,000 there.
It's I think it's routine programming with concentrated, but I don't know. Because when we do the other team line. So it's like
Just a, yeah,
Just be like focus programming. We're running team camps or that kind of stuff.
yeah, okay. It's not the cost, it's the reimbursable side of it. Okay, okay, thank you.
Next one is telephone. This is one I'd really like to cut completely, but I can't yet. It's actually $20,000 for next year because like I mentioned earlier, we're trying to get away from some landlines. It was budgeted for 22.8 previously on your B2, so 23, we didn't cut there last minute, down to 20. I'm hoping I can get it down to 10 this year, but it depends on how quickly the alarm stuff taken care of.
You know, you might have an AT&T connection. I know.
I was just gonna say landlines, I mean, everybody's trying to get rid of them. I mean, like the companies that run them are trying to get rid of them. So you might have some luck.
No, not, but I mean, point blank, I paid $130, $100 a month for a landline line. And you run the fire alarm, burglar alarm, or fax. Fax line I can throw on VoIP line, and the other two I can put on cell phone. So the top line. Next one is office supplies. And got $4,000 in there. It is up. Main reason is because the ink for our badge printer, ID badges, and then also just general office supplies and stuff. But the ink alone is $500 a time, so we're replacing it basically twice a year. Right now. We're currently printing ID cards for all of our members, all of the police department, and sometimes we do here.
Oh, not all, but we do one-time card.
So we print their ID card for P up to cost savings. So we. Next one is equipment. This is to replace lobby furniture primarily. Well, some tables, chairs, that kind of stuff. We're looking at $7,000 compared to $49,000. First aid supplies in the wash, $500, same as last year. The miscellaneous, we are currently at $2,000, same as last year. Any questions?
One thing I do want to address though, when you see first aid supplies and that in capital, you will see citywide AED replacement that will come out of the fire department. That will also go to Parks Department as well. So I just want everybody to be aware that the AEDs will be replaced, but that's not in this line.
For the heart thing.
Yeah, shockers.
Is that what they're called? Boom, boom.
I just try to. Stand clear thing.
And we're getting a procurement person too this year coming up, right?
Not this year. We'll look into it for next year. We had made some cuts.
Thank you, Dave.
Just AED training.
We will go now to go your first tab. Counseling part and
And we've got a new sheet for that too, right?
No.
Hey, Dave.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah.
No.
I have a new one for the counseling clerk.
For council clerk?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I
10
did.
dash
I
10.
have one. now. I missed that one, I guess.
I thought you were just like, I didn't need any changes.
That's what I thought too. Like, oh, somebody's nailed down, but no.
A 10-10.
One back. Just like in some
Send
of
me
the other
one.
ones, some of the
You
BT.
too?
I don't have one.
It's right.
Oh, it's not a new page though.
That's what I
But not-
thought,
not
because you
digital.
all don't have changes either. You all don't have changes over there, but I think the one you have, it looks like, the one you just gave me looks like. the one I got.
Oh, okay, it is. It is. Okay, go be smug.
There you go. Kobe's fucked.
So the 10-10 in the book is correct.
The cover sheet is, yes. But just
Thought I
like some of the other ones, the B2s are gonna need to be updated.
Okay.
So are we ready?
Not yet. Hold on.
Well, I got a new 10-10.
I didn't get
It's-
one.
It's the same one though. It's not changed.
Yeah, all of them.
Okay.
We're on 10-10. But you don't have to worry about an update.
You were perfect.
Okay, are you guys ready? Okay. You don't have to go through staff and so forth, because I'm not adding any additional staff this year. When we get to training and education, so you're gonna see quite a few changes in the council clerk budget this time than what you would have in the past. And a lot of that is because the council clerk budget, a lot of the spending it's all throughout the budget, but we've tried to bring a lot of it back into the same budget. So that way I can, kind of monitor it a little better. So once we get to boards and commissions, and then we also added a new line for community relations and so forth. So we'll see that as you go through. But for the first one, training and education. Can you see it on here? Okay, so it is up a little bit. Again, just kind of like we spoke, I added the council retreat, but we added that in the previous year. And then I also added the boards and commissions training. In the past, we've had some of those items in citywide. I'm gonna try to do this here and on the screen at the same time.
When you say boards and commissions training, what are we doing there?
So it's training and other costs for them. So we do have boards and commissions that actually want to go to additional training. So say for instance, the plan commission, they have training that they go to every year.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Commissions do. So it's available and it's available to plan commission, I believe ARB, just different members. Yeah, not necessarily CRB. They have their own training, the NACO training that they do.
Oh, okay.
But the Human Rights Commission has training that they do. For the past couple of years, they haven't charged us, but they might get to a point where they start charging us again. And then it's also for additional costs. So we've talked in the past about some different things that the boards and commissions might need. So we tried to include a line item that will cover all of them, and it's on a case-by-case basis or as needed basis.
Okay.
So, it's not that one commission can come and have some extravagant event and spend, $2,000-$3,000, and then, they've used all the funding for the rest of them.
And it's still not the situation of giving them a budget. It's. okay.
But it is having something available to them. And I'll use HRC as an example because I serve on HRC. In the past, they would do like their plaques and so forth for the Advocate of the Year award. They used to pay for that themselves. And then they would come back and then they would ask us for funding because at the time we never necessarily had a budget for it. So the only thing what we would do was like a certificate or whatever, and they wanted something other than that had to have a cost to it. And they went out and they had t-shirts and they had banners and stuff made for when they would go to events, but they had to pay for that stuff themselves because they never had a budget for it. So the next one is, and this one is increased as well. And I'm trying to go through it here and there. So I got a few things going on here. So this one is increased as well, and this is conferences. As I do every year, I encourage the council to attend the MML and some of the different conferences that we have coming up. And I did increase it. I increased the membership this year, or the amount of members that can go. So I added a little bit of funding to it. It's going to be in Kansas City. MML is going to be in Kansas City. And then also knowing that we had some new members, for instance, Councilman Ashby. We also have the newly elected officials seminar that comes up in June. So I wanted to make sure we had funding for that. ICSC, when you look again, and I'm just going by what I know we've kind of discussed. So all of the B2s aren't necessarily correct, so they have to be updated. ICSC, our mayor didn't go to ICSC the last couple of years, so the funding for that was reduced. But we did not remove that line because in the event that she wanted to go to ICSC, because it was always available to the mayor, along with the economic development director. But this year we also added Brownsfield. And then, the Brownsfield conference. You don't, again, the B2s have to be updated, but it should have been, yeah. So when you look at the cover sheet, the B2 says 13, but the cover sheet says 15 for some of the changes that I'm talking about. Right, for some of the changes that I'm talking about.
All right, so the Brownsfield is 2,000.
I have to go back to. I have to go back to the original, because it's not, the correct amount is not noted right here. But Brownsfield was about 2,000, yes.
Is that just the mayor or?
It was only for the mayor because there was only the request from the mayor.
Okay, then I would say one or the other, but I wouldn't have both in there.
Well, that's kind of what I explained. So we reduced the amount for ICSC, but we added Brownsfield. So we didn't have while we reduced the amount for ICSC, we didn't take it away in the event that there was a need for her to go to Brownsfield or whatever.
ICSC in the past.
In ICSC, we had the 2,200 that you see there.
Okay,
Brownsfield is 2,000.
so basically what we're putting in this budget is Brownfield at 2,000 and ICSC at 22.
No, the funding for ICSC was removed. That was reduced.
She has to update the,
Okay. All right, so this,
Wrong B2, the
yeah, the
B2,
B2s are.
the one that you're
incorrect.
looking at is incorrect.
all right, so my
I'm
total.
explaining the cover sheet based off what I budgeted for.
Okay, so my B2 total on the wrong one is 13,000, so that should go down to 11,800.
No, for training and conference is 15.
Okay, so it's at 15. But that would include the 2,000 for Brownfield, according to this B2. 'Cause
No.
my B2 is 13, so 2,000 more is 15.
No, so you have the funding. I added additional money for, but again, you're looking at the wrong B2. So I added additional money for MML so that more council members can go.
Can you just do dollar by dollar? That's 3,000, right?
Do you have because the one that you printed out for me is incorrect.
Well, that's fine. If you don't have it handy, that's all right.
Maybe I'm confused because when you said you added additional amount, I'm not knowing what that new number is. And so I'm just trying to, because right now what I show on MML conference for 2 attendees is 3,000.
And that's what she's saying, that that B2 is incorrect and we'll get a new one. The correct amount is on the cover
Do you
sheet.
know what the correct amount is now at this moment?
Not off the top of my head.
Oh,
I'd have to get you the new B2.
gotcha. All right, move along. I'll be fine. I won't hold you up any longer.
Okay. And so then the next one is gonna be memberships. So the next one is memberships. So there's not necessarily any changes to memberships.
Metro Mayor's is not 35,
How much is Metro Mayor's?
350.
Ooh, missing a zero?
Uh-huh. I'm pretty certain.
That's an easy mistake, though.
Okay, so incidentals, and this is where we do flowers, cleaning for the table skirt, which I've pretty much been washing it, but I'm just gonna put it in the cleaner so I can get it steamed and pressed, every couple of times that I wash it. Council shirts was increased, just because the costs have increased, and we try to do shirts once a year, so I did increase the cost a little bit on that one. Meeting costs. Meeting costs stayed the same, from the previous year. License and fees. So you're gonna see changes on this one. The amount that, again, on the B2 that you're looking at is incorrect. I am actually going through the process of getting the agenda management system now, so we hope to have that contract to you by the end of this month. But what you are going to see next year, this is for the actual cost of the agenda management system. But next year, as you see on the cover sheet, where it shows the cost is 23.5, that includes the annual subscription fees, the estimated annual subscription fees, rather than the actual cost of the system, because that's coming out of this year's budget. Okay, so next we have individual communications. And so that's for the council cell phones and the city clerk phone. So not too much change there. On the next line is professional services. While you're showing something here, you actually don't have anything for professional services. You show it in the B2, but we don't have anything for professional services. What we used to use is the videographer for the guy that used to stand and do our cameras and stuff for us. We don't use him anymore, but that's where that cost came from.
So I just, okay. Professional services. You're saying we don't have anything, but I got a page for 1,900.
So on the B2, it shows that we have something, but we actually don't have anything budgeted for professional services. And I was just explaining that we use the
Yeah,
video out.
I'm with you now, okay.
I did want to point out there are 5 in here, that the B2s show that reference error, like in it. Okay, there's 5 of them within there. What's that? It's
No
a,
number.
like an Excel error.
Mhm.
Oh, okay, because I'm not seeing the
It
right
says like
numbers
hashtag
either.
REF.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I always thought I was losing my thing here.
No, you're not.
But,
Okay.
I think I think that was the only section I saw. There may be more, but I mean, there may be.
They all over.
Go down. It's not all of it, just later in the back, they're doing that.
We know you're taking notes, Evan.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay, so next we have printed materials, and this is for business cards, printing of records and so forth that I need. And so I did increase it a little bit because the costs have gone up for printing. Sorry, that one should be 15.
Page there too.
Yeah, most of the B2s that you're looking at are gonna be updated, but the cover sheet that you have,
That's correct.
1,500. So all of the numbers on the cover sheet is correct. Okay, next is postage. And then that's for mailings and so forth. Yeah, it looks like they've been run together here. So what you should have here is for, and remember, we talked at the beginning about boards and commissions incidentals. The training line, that one is removed, but the boards and commissions incidentals, that is something that we now have in this particular budget. We have a new public relations line that we did not have before. Where we're taking the boards and commissions, we've taken them out of the other budget lines and we're putting them in council clerk.
So under postage, so it's in the postage section?
No, somehow the 2 pages ran together.
Oh,
Because you're not even
okay.
showing that I have the new line.
Okay, that makes more sense. So, okay, so postage is 500. According to your cover sheet.
Yeah. Should be 500. And then the public relations is 5,000.
Public relations, where is that on here?
That's
So
the page that's missing.
the public relations at 5,000. So we're adding a part-time PR person, or what is that?
That's for boards and commissions incidentals.
Okay, and it's,
But Octavia, I don't see public relations on your cover sheet.
Is that professional services?
Nope, it should be
I see printed materials, postage, office supplies.
community relations.
Oh, that's, okay, so
I misspoke on the last one. Both of those should just, yeah.
10,000?
and that's a new HR. I'm sorry, I'm missing something. Is that the
No.
HR person?
So community relations, not public relations, is where we added the boards and commissions training and so forth.
Gotcha. Okay.
They need to be trained.
I didn't hear the 10,000.
And that's a projected number, right? That's the pot available if people choose to train up to that.
For all of them across the board, yes. And then for office supplies, equipment and miscellaneous. Those are. Office supplies is worth 1,000, equipment 500, I don't know if that's something, and then miscellaneous, is just 100.
So if we were gonna cut anything, are you comfortable with cutting down the community relations to? What exactly are we gonna spend $10,000 on for people who've never spent money anyway? For the most, I mean, they've spent some.
Oh,
but-
they've spent money. Yeah, we just have to take it from different places. So this is just funneling it all into one budget.
So
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Go
So
ahead.
they've spent $10,000 worth of money in the past?
So you have the boards and commissions banquet, that's number 1. And so yes, the cost for that, and then as well as just different incidentals. So I mean, if you want to cut some of it, you can, but this was us trying to respond to their requests.
So I guess I'm just trying to, so now that you put them all together.
Mhm.
In the past, what do you think the true number was that's equivalent to putting them all together?
Well, that's hard to determine just because when they had requests, we would just try to figure out where to get it from.
So you didn't really tally what,
So yeah.
so you're saying you feel like 10,000 would cover?
Well, it's not 10 for them because now, mind you, we have the boards and commissions banquet
Right.
and we don't want to get rid of that, I'm hoping, right? So we have the boards and commission banquet on top of their incidental. So we were trying to take their stuff and put it in one line item.
What do you think we normally spend on boards and commissions? About 2,000?
Oh, no, gosh, no.
No, I mean on the banquet.
Oh, no, that's what
No.
I mean. No, absolutely not. You're gonna pay more than that just for the caterer alone. So, last year, the total might have been right at 5,000, if not a little bit above it.
So the 10,000, it's healthy to say half of it goes to the banquet and the other half would go to trainings and different incidentals.
Issues that boards and commissions have.
Right.
Training is separate. Or anything that they need
Yeah.
to have come up.
Okay.
For example, we have new people going to planning and zoning.
But that's the training line.
Right, because last year we only sent one person to also for the training. But since we have new people, we might want to send 2 or 3 because it's a really good training for boards of planning and zoning. It really elevates them.
I mean, and they do, that's one of the, like I said, that was an easy one to go to because they actually do use that one.
Right,
But there are a lot of trainings that could be available to them. One of the things that we also try to encourage is, we pay the MML tuition. So we pay that tuition every year. And then once a month, they have the different trainings that come up. And we try to also push that out to them as well, but there are actual other classes that they like to attend from time to time.
I just wanted to be clear on that because that's a big chunk of number.
Yeah, and so, just like this past year, there was a one that we could not fund at that point, but I believe it was just Park that wanted some funding so that they were trying to hold an event, but we didn't have the fund. We didn't have the funds at that time to do it, but like I said, this is us responding to them
Okay.
to be able to help them to fund some of the things that they wanted to do.
Sure.
It could be things like, we need new, Jesky Park, we need new signs promoting the meeting, right? So it could be.
Right, something small. So if it's, yard signs or something like that, perhaps, but not anything big, no.
okay.
Okay. All right, thank you. So next up, is city manager. I'll take this one.
And you've got a new sheet too, right?
Yeah. New sheet, the B2s will be changed somewhat. This is one that we did cut, today. So. They know next year we're gonna be away in from this. We're gonna start our budget in January. So that we'll be a lot more ready to go with all this. Okay.
You cut 100,000 from V1 to V2? Wanna read it? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't hear you.
Oh, you cut money, so the one I've got in the books is 550, now you're down to 437.
Yep.
Another reason we like it.
So, we can start right here because this could be a cut because I don't think this should be in the budget on just looking at it right now. If this is for the city manager car allowance, that's something that's in a contract and that's something that should be with your discretion. So my suggestion is we take this 4,000 off because that's something that's in the contract with the city manager that you guys would
Right.
decide. So
Go to the staffing page.
this is also wrong. The staffing page, because this is part of the cut. Right now it has assistant city manager, am I correct?
I show assistant city manager and assistant to city manager.
Chris Crable is the assistant too. We were talking about having assistant city manager in this way. What a plan could be in is when we do get a new city manager. To either have me as an assistant city manager and fire chief and or have the city manager. As the assistant for 5-6 months or however, so we know what everything is about that person, be like a probationary period.
Or until you retire, right? One of those two, whichever one's longer.
Yes. Sorry, Tom. Yeah, so, I mean, obviously, we, I mean, we just need to make sure we don't get burned.
So we would be then possibly removing the position called assistant to city manager?
Correct.
And then we had talked
Because
about,
I still get paid out of the park chief's fund too.
because we had talked about a public relations person, is that,
It wouldn't come out of city manager, it'll
Right.
put more probably citywide and or maybe PD.
all the questions I have?
No, it's all good.
Like the staffing plan a lot, just saying that.
What's that?
I like the staffing approach.
The next one is training. We have in here, as you see, assistant city manager and things like that. Like I said, we don't know, we didn't know. This is what we were trying to do as a major wish list. When we first did the budget, and obviously we were over, so we wanted to make sure we were in the black and not the red. So right now, the assistant city manager is taken out of all this. So the correct figure should be $2,200 in training and education. All these B2s will be updated. Again, with the conferences on 33, you'll see city manager and assistant city manager. Those two will be removed. And so we actually saved quite a bit there. We're down to 10.9.
Conferences?
Yes, ma'am. Sorry. Next one is memberships. This too, we would be paying double right here for city manager and acting city or assistant city manager. So then that would be cut in half. Not everything's cut in half though. Just portions of it. So we'll be down $900 less there. So that's 4,000 now instead of 4,900. This one is the next one, 202038 incidentals. This is gonna be, for the city manager to take care of what he needs to for economic development and things like that as well.
Do you really need to go up on that one a little bit more?
We got it in other places as well.
Okay.
If we see, I'd rather be in the black right now than in the red, and we should be watching our budget all year long. So if we see that we need that, and if some of our sales taxes go up, we can always come back. So.
Could always make them sing.
Or two, community relations. That I believe we were taking out somewhere else. Am I correct, Evan?
Yes.
Yeah, and the 02044 economic development, that will be coming out of the economic development people. And then we're going to 0248 license and service fees. So we looked at this, we will be coming down to Omnigo because it's actually in another location. So this is for the prosecuting assistant, which is Tanya. And so we took it out of the area where they're all at. So it's one big fee. Okay.
So typically this fee is shared amongst different financial departments,
The other one we got leased.
Yeah,
but you just bunched it together and put it in here.
yes, because we were wanting to gauge this a little better because we could be going to a different software. Like, a matter of fact, courts will be going to, most likely, I think it's called Show Me Courts. There will be no more Omnigo for them. So we're cutting some stations right now. You pay per computer on this. So that's why we want to have a direct count. So we take it all out at the time. Mhm.
Makes sense. And then photocopier got moved.
Photocopier, that will be moved. We are also, so everyone knows, we're in the midst of looking at photocopiers right now. We're having people come in to evaluate our systems that we currently have, and we will be going off our RFP with that. And 02701, that's $300. That's for books, publications. And then we get a lot of things like that for the city manager. And then the 0289, that hotspot is for emergency management, and it is a must for the city manager. excuse me, to have that communication line, if needed. My next one is 0290 individual communications. Cell phones went up to $700 a piece. We are taking out the assistant city manager. That's where we are. So we saved $700 there.
Are you
Uh,
taking out the assistant to the city manager?
No, assistant city manager. It's the
Okay,
very
I was
bottom one.
just making sure. So the assistant to the city manager is still in the cell phone?
Yes.
And if we actually hire an assistant during the year, you'll readdress that and you'll bring back in money for them as well.
Yeah, but like I said, right now we want to be in the black, and then that's something that we can always readjust. When we go back to. And then the 02230 professional services, that is our city prosecuting attorney. The next one, 02238 printed materials. Also business cards for, new city manager, and also this goes for Betty for consent decree. She's under the city manager. Postage is $400. I don't even know if we'll use all that. I think we're looking into that, so that we may cut that a little bit. And then the next one, 02240 office supplies. The assistant city manager will be cut out of that. I believe that's it on that one. Am I correct, Evan? And then my 02241. That will be only $800, I believe, because we are cutting the assistant city manager out of that. And then miscellaneous, this is, we got to keep morale up as well. And this is things that the city manager can do to make sure that morale is high. Right now, our morale is pretty good. We're actually, you can feel like the weight's off a little bit, and so it's not bad. But I mean, obviously this, with it being people's first ones, and we had to make some pretty drastic cuts. It's been a little tense, but we're good now.
I think everybody will be happier after budget.
Yes, yes. And then we'll be going to citywide, our next one. I will cover that one as well. And then I'll let Evan do his.
What about disaster?
Let's take that out.
Disaster.
So
fund,
take that off
disaster.
completely?
That should go very.
We got a new way to spell disaster.
Yeah.
That's the French version.
Okay, this one has no employees. Well, let's worry about salaries.
Little part.
Yeah, and we're not gonna train or educate anybody either.
So in citywide, is that
Yes,
not
ma'am.
correct? Okay.
So we're on membership?
That'd be 02034. We went through this. These are ones we need to keep. It's up a little bit, but I felt like that I wanted to be involved in some of this as well. And so that way some of this went up a little bit.
They communicate with us.
And then 0204. Elections. This may be up or no, it's down. Well, this will be down, but is this from, will we be getting money back? I was not sure on this one.
Well, no, so what happens with the election costs, it's hard for us to determine what the actual cost is gonna be. But we do, once we pay our bill, often we get money back. And we only have anticipated to have one election in this coming year, so.
This, next year, this will go up next year, fiscal year, because next year, even year, we'll have, we are president. 23 calendar.
Okay. Okay, this next one is 02041, which is public reporting. At this time, we have 4,000 in citywide mailers. My suggestion is that we, and this may not be liked by everybody, but I think we can get rid of the $26,000 400. One of the reason being, we're not even getting all of our stuff in that we submit to the paper to be put in.
So you saying delete?
Yeah, I think what we're looking at is maybe even using this funding right here to also look for a PIO. And Dave can get money out of his budget, and then we'd actually have a PIO for the city
A PIO is.
officer.
That would be
And that
great.
person would be able to handle all social media, all, you know, any news release, anything that the city has going out.
Press release.
So, this is one way of trying to fund it. Because we're not, like, people, we're not getting what we should be getting out of this 26,400.
Is that something that needs to be negotiated, though? I mean, somebody needs to talk to the editor and.
I mean, they come up to us, don't they, during budget?
They usually do.
Yeah.
They had, yeah.
And I think they had kind of a little falling out this year, correct? Their group?
No.
No?
No, so they were concerned that they were going to not have enough money to continue their service. And one of the three jumped the gun and said, we can't do this anymore, when that wasn't the case. So apparently the other two sat him down and said, whoa, relax, we've got this. So they're still moving for, they're still an active.
So what
entity.
we can do is. Mhm.
Right, they
Right, that
went to a
was-
new one.
So he was, yeah, he thought they didn't have it, so he just took it upon himself to shut it down, which they said, no, we do have it, and they.
So
reopened.
our
So
understanding,
it was
one
less
person
than-
was gone, one person was left that group.
Well, at
Sorry.
this point,
So-
have a conversation with them.
Sure.
Yeah.
Please.
So this is something that we can discuss, when they come in, and through this budget. But I just wanted to bring it to your attention, because it is something that we'll need to talk about.
Well, the thing that I would also put out there is, I apologize for talking and chewing. This isn't just us. I mean, if we were to pull out of this newspaper wouldn't be able to function. And there's citywide, there is
Then if-
community support for this.
If we do that, then we should make sure everything that we write should go in the paper. Because we're paying almost everything, then we should make sure that everything that we submit should be able to go on.
I absolutely agree, and that's why I would say have the conversation, because I would rather see that become an understanding before the citizens lose their newspaper.
And do we know even, I guess we're gonna have a special conversation about that. Do we even know how many copies get picked up and read anymore?
I think that's something that they'll have to come in and explain.
Can we have a special
ma'am.
meeting
Yeah.
and move on?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
I will do that. I'll get one
because
together.
we won't solve it here
Yeah,
tonight.
understood.
No,
understood.
Okay,
That was gonna be a hot topic. but
Okay.
I just want to bring it to your attention. We will definitely have it brought out one.
okay.
Okay.
but I really like. Yeah.
We need a PIO. Okay,
Agree.
we do.
On the 02042 community relations, this will be, lost my spot. That's all that. 5,500. And that's for brochures, yard signs. Remember how we used to do the greatest yard sale and all that? I
Mhm.
mean, we want to get back there, you know?
So one suggestion I would like to make is, and it's something I've been thinking about a lot when I've been driving around Ferguson. We have a lot of signs, like there's signs right now that are out that need to be pulled, that are like first day of May is National Prayer Day. Okay, so that sign probably can be used again next year with no problem. But we have signs out there, and Heather and I have a campaign signs we're not gonna use anymore. I don't want to put those signs in a dump, because they're hard plastic. So I've been coming up with ways to reuse them so that we could cover them up and use them for the city, because then it's no cost except for whatever it is we choose to cover them up with. And there's quite a lot of different ways. So it's just something I want to plug
Yeah,
into
I
your
mean-
thought process.
Also, we can talk to our recycler because that may be used as insulation. So we'll talk.
I just don't want to put it in a, what is that called?
Dumpster.
Landfill, thank you.
Steve,
Okay.
I have a question. So for the signs, is this for the neighborhood association signs as well?
I'm sorry, what, I didn't hear you.
Would the neighborhood association signs fall into this? for the-
No,
No,
no, that
Okay,
comes out of community development.
okay, community
development.
development. Well, what about the city limit signs? That would be public works or?
Probably Public Works.
Okay,
Okay, the next was 02043 special events. Or, yeah, special events. This is the annual breakfast for North County Inc. and other special events that we have.
MML dinner.
The MML dinner, I believe, is in the clerk's budget. Okay.
02048 licenses and service fees. That one. Sorry. It's gonna stay the same, 6,200 or 62,000. We will be keeping a Zoom because obviously, we do a lot of meetings over Zoom. So.
We are a hybrid society now.
chief,
We will be going to OpenGov. This OpenGov should probably be in a different, B2. Or different area, but we'll keep it here for now because right now it's in the city manager's lap or it's in my lap to get it done for citywide.
Is that,
This will eventually replace a lot of enterprise. And so you'll see that enterprise will be, the cost of enterprise.
Okay.
Enterprise.
Enterprise.
Side, we do our community development channel, our code side, the inspection, permits, and then the other side is our financial. All of our data.
So is enterprise the name of the company or something?
Now it's here, it's actually the part of the project, the product in the project.
Okay, I'm with you.
And so is this gonna include is the OpenGov eventually gonna get us back to the C-Fix click functionality?
No, so we just had a meeting with C-Click Fix to see what type of improvements they've made. So we will be talking to them still. Nothing there is solid, but OpenGov, my understanding, will take some part of that C-Click Fix, and we don't want to be redundant. So, but with this, we'll also take care of the licensing for liquor, business license, and then all of our permitting, sewer laterals and things like that as well. That's why enterprise will go away. Except for on the financial ends. Yes, ma'am.
so the 2023 versus 2024, the budget and forecast, is that due to OpenGov, like the
Yes, ma'am.
difference? Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you.
It's not fully developed and up and running.
and
Okay.
for
ahead.
clarity, you said that code enforcement is going back, so eventually we'll be reporting the code enforcement issues through OpenGov, at some point, or no?
Probably not. Not
Probably
right, not right now. I don't have a template or anything like that. What OpenGov will do for, I know Public Works and Code will do the permitting.
Okay.
We'll do the, and then also like Octavia, the licensing. It'll be one-stop shop for everything. We're still in the midst of doing the templates. The previous administration wanted to make his own. We're having them show us the templates, be a lot easier. Rachel, our new economic development lady, and she actually has a bunch of templates that she's gonna bring to OpenGov as well.
Okay.
That where she came from. So we're gonna take a look at everything and go from there.
Okay.
She has familiarity with OpenGov, yes, ma'am.
And this is also the financial.
Okay.
Equipment leases.
This is 2068. We're pretty much just. It looks like went up just $500. Oh, 2069 photocopier. This may change with our new, Evan, is this?
John earlier, We are looking at, that was coming already, which will be doing a deep dive, something called GFI Digital. And, where, they're gonna do a site survey for all of our copier needs and printing needs as well. There are several different levels to this, levels. And so the reason why the thing changed is because you might be able to see cost savings, you also might be assuming might have issues in some other areas. We want to make sure we're getting that's big for a buck. I think last time we met too, I did mention our current provider was not willing to look at, and they basically told us that we didn't need to change anything at all, which I'm not for not a copier expert, but I do believe that there's some things we can do different.
And we'll keep you up. We'll keep you up to speed on all that. So the next one's 02071 subscription publications. You'll see it's up a bit. That's because we are hoping to get a few more things going here with the city. On the 02192 fiscal agent fees. I don't know if that changed. Yeah, it's pretty much staying the same. No, I'm sorry, it dropped a little bit, $600. Yeah.
Fiscal
$600.
agent fees.
I do have a question about this. Can you describe for me what we're paying them to analyze when they manage our $20 million pension or whatever it is? Is it typical for a bank to charge a city of this size this analysis fees when they're managing all? Okay, thank you.
I knew at one time we were talking about looking at others, just to look at things like this.
It just seems like we have the amount of money we have at their bank that they're loaning out at 8%. We probably shouldn't be paying any analysis fee. So,
Well, and that being said, I mean, we already have established that we have to get a different audit company just to keep things fresh. I think the same could be said for the banking industry.
So, I have been in conversation, I'm not doing anything, but I have started to look at another option, possibly use another bank transaction. Commerce Bank one, we're looking at doing some short-term investments to see how they work and see if that's a possibility. I know that I don't want to hurt our banking relationship we have locally. However, though, we must do what's best in the city as well. So
Right.
we need to find something that's a little bit better financially. I would definitely entertain.
How many account? Sorry, go ahead.
The relationship between Ferguson and UMB has historically started when, when the bank was evolved.
Sure.
And life has changed since then, and they don't seem to have that loyalty to us that we are supposedly showing to them.
The things that I have witnessed, that when I first came on board, they were going to come out and another thing, they just talked to, I mean, since then, we've had some other issues, we've got some credit card issues with them. I feel like I'm not getting the service that we should. So, especially, spending a bunch of money after them, that we should get better level, higher level service.
21,400 would help pay for that public relations officer.
Councilman Ashby, you had a question?
Thank you, Mayor. But so how many accounts do we actually have in the city? Is this 5 accounts, 15 accounts?
Yep. 5 and 2 of those, we have the parks with general, the bail bonds fund, we have a couple of courts accounts that the courts actually manage.
What is this? Who is
Oh,
right
it's
next?
writing on our screen. Whoever you are, go away.
That's a darn good question. I don't know.
Okay.
So this is actually like the monthly maintenance fee or monthly service fee for the most part.
Kind of, so they do now, where deposit rates are, I mean, like how they do this whole analysis for the transaction.
So it works out to be about $1,000 an account or $1,500 account, basically. Same prices for the money we have.
Okay.
So, the next one's 0222.
Hello? Wait, is my microphone working?
The 022200 and the 02221 liability insurance. We are also looking into all this, especially after the floods. We have someone actually right now that potentially be looking into the whole system of all of our liability. So, the costs are what they are right now, but hopefully we will get those down. The 02230 professional services is the legal fees. With Lewis, with Apollo and his firm.
Is that including the consent decree costs, or is that, no, that's separate?
Separate.
We do have a lot of legal things that.
I wrote down them all and I was just like,
So
They should go down since
Um,
council is not gonna
we-
keep
we-
calling Apollo.
we will be talking to you more about the legal fees and things like that.
okay.
Yes, sir.
Has staff considered hiring our own attorney?
So we were looking into that as well. We have met with Apollo and right now he's giving me some information back that I was gonna give to y'all. But right now I didn't want to change the budget at all because I was waiting on some of the information he's getting back to us with.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. The 02238 printed materials. We just went up just a slightly bit because everything's going up a little bit. The 02240 office supplies. We did actually fix this B2. We came down. We had it up quite a bit earlier, but we brought it back down to 500. The 02291 payments. This like the everything like the pension board member, the attorneys. Am I in the right spot? Okay. FNIP pension board members, CE credits. Evan, you can probably talk about this a little bit more.
So pension board, sitting on pension board must, must take, take seminar, so we can get you a certain amount of ski credits each year. One of the ones we have recently, I myself attended and, Todd Mead attended. Sorry, Todd Mead, and
Your education.
also. Yeah, because we're actually considered trustees for the pension.
A lot of the boards and commissions training that you were talking about.
You
No,
have
'cause
to
it's-
excuse me. I'm trying to figure out who this is right on my screen.
Yeah,
I missed it. I'm sorry.
I believe this would come out as citywide because it
I
does.
believe that we should transfer all the Missouri government funds into my bank account, please, and thank you.
I'm not sure who this is that just keeps jumping in. And then when I try to screen share,
You can't,
when I mute, I can't go in, at least I can't figure out how to do it. And that's why that's why the screen is not currently being shared. So the people online, it's only a couple, but they can't see what you all see. Because somehow it was being manipulated, which is why I just kind of had to stop it.
so someone has hacked out. It's.
I mean,
It could just be a setting somewhere where it allows people to do, markups.
Yep, I think that's it. That's it.
Yeah, somebody just said that's it.
But she has control of the Zoom.
No, I don't.
Are you the one writing?
No.
Don't entertain him.
We'll just keep going.
Yeah, I think it's a setting called annotation.
You can't mute him.
I believe the reason why this is out of the wide pension for table, I told my, because the one pension back to citywide.
Mhm.
okay, can you just mute? Okay.
Okay.
Or disconnect.
So, moving on.
That's great. Yeah, back into the system.
So on 2294, non-recurring authorized expenditures. This is more consent decree compliance cost. And it is as follows there below. We did not go up from last year. And also the next.
This slide comes down. First page.
On 02294.
So the 255 is not, we don't pay
02296.
so the 94, okay, that's just a duplicate. And I thought at one point we had the city monitor, the monitor coming down in price, but that's about what we've been paying from the start, isn't it? Have we gotten a price break at all on the consent decree monitor?
They don't work like that.
It doesn't work.
Crazy.
Okay,
Okay, and then this 02296 should read 5,000. The civil preparedness. 5,000 for 02296 civil preparedness. And then 02297 litigation. This I believe may be able to put down. This is where we're also talking to the public.
Yeah, because my question was gonna be like, so that's a separate 300,000 from the 170 that we're paying
Mhm.
Lewis and Rice.
I mean, just like, and I don't know this is 100% true, but I'm not sure if that, like the insurance carrier, that maybe does some of the lawsuit stuff that we have, if that's part of that. I'll find out though. I'll have this broken down
Okay.
for us.
Because I mean, we also pay a ton of liability.
Yeah, and that's what we're looking at, especially after with the FEMA issues and with the flood. We really realize what we need to do, and insurance is one of them,
Okay.
to make sure that we are properly covered. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'd be curious if litigation is just legal fees or if that includes settlement agreements and
I think
things like that.
You know what, looking at this, I would probably look up, but I do know we did have some pretty large settlements this year.
Or is more than. And for us. The
300,000 is pretty good after some of the years we've had.
But we've got some new ones too.
Yeah, I will get you a better answer though, to make sure everyone's good. And then,
Also, John talked about the insurance, and one of the things we learned too that I learned is that, like all vehicles over, and when I understand the reason it's over, because, I think the rate went down.
we couldn't get anybody else.
That's the last resort.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
where we are still at a BAA3. Same rate, stay flat, and we're able to maintain that. I'm really hoping and working very hard to hope it is. So,
Did not Moody rating go up for,
it did, maybe 2 years ago, but this year it's saying.
it was supposed to come out in August?
Still BAA.
Okay,
And with this being a balanced budget, that's also gonna help us with our Moody's rating. And that's why it's very important for us to have this budget in the black.
okay. You wouldn't-
That is done with city manager and citywide. The next will be finance department, and Evan, I'll let you take that one.
What about human resources?
HR, and doesn't she have another difficulty?
It just said city manager's office.
So it's not HR
Next
today.
time. Yeah.
Next
Oh,
time.
okay.
So please look over to 10-25 or 10-25.
Do we have a new insert for that?
10-25.
Yes.
Whoops, did you need me to try to put it back up on the screen?
We
We're
okay.
okay with
because- #25. Did we get a new sheet for that
I'm
one?
looking at that too. Oh, I haven't missed it.
All righty.
Reason, this is why I wanted to go up a little bit, is because, south, and then it's one, Diane Hoover's position, that was a part-time position, to work out, part-time, we brought up to full-time. And under also, student under personnel summary, I'm actually, recommending to get rid of the assistant finance director position. Because the reason is because that person is going to be doing most of the general accounting anyways, and I can supervise my staff, so. So I don't feel like I feel like the department, you know, 3 or 4, I'm not good at too many changes on it. So I think I can still manage my staff and we please supervise my staff. So instead I would hopefully replace it with a general account. And that would actually go with cost and salary.
So just bring on an extra set of hands.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay, starting with
Oh.
Barry and Carol.
Go back real quick.
I apologize for this.
Procurement coordinators.
Yeah, that is actually coming out, right? I'm gonna recommend it for next year, taking that out this year.
Okay.
Would your extra set of hands be able to handle some of that?
Possibly, yeah. That would be a little big. And that extra thing, against possibly once we got caught up on reconciliations, general county, so we need to be caught up on. Then I would probably look at helping me hopefully what that would look.
Also, when we go out for like street sweepers, fire trucks, police cars and things like that, we also go through agencies,
Right,
So
you
that's-
had talked about that
HGAC. So that is a procurement
organization.
organization. So for the big purchases right now, we are going through an agency that is getting us best prices.
Yeah, because you had talked about that earlier with your favorite vendors and stuff.
And the other one, we get part of, we get talk about salary and everything. I've also did recommend the increase because I believe we're here for people that in my department and for the level, what's out there, what most people make in the market, way. For people to get that professional, get that, what we need. That's why we're. Okay, Murray Apparel, that's actually, that actually beats it actually $500. I came on board later at that. We buy the staff polos, we decided what happened, I curtailed that and then not let the buy anything extra. So I did promise them to buy some polos or something. Staff, especially we have some new staff as well. Training pretty much stayed the same. It was $3,000, various trainings from GFOA, for myself, and then also anything I want to do. Maybe I'll go slowly, don't want my staff to do something specific with my staff. Hey, want to give an opportunity. And that keeps us up, that's important, that does
Yeah.
keep us up to best practices. Conferences, is actually was cut in, pretty much cut down, on the B2 versus AEOF, that's actually, we cut that, those lines item in half, because I'm not planning on having a assistant finance director, so, that did increase that line. Down to,
250?
it did, went down to 53.
Oh.
I did do the national conference in there, at 6,000, I'm not sure, I'm not attending this year's, we're planning to, but because of budgetary reasons and also because of this is, I've heard from my, best for me to stay here instead of work here. But I would like to try to go to the national. The next one is actually, so 700 is actually 350, again, because not having assistant finance director. Actually, not expecting that.
It's the same.
It's the same, I did that, so. That probably won't be used, but. License and service agreement, this one actually did go up a little bit, 89.9, but there's gonna be some changes to this. A lot of this, so the file license is that really accurate. In the enterprise agent license, this is where it gets tricky, because we move to open gov. Or some of this enterprise, hopefully a lot of this enterprise cost is gonna go down, because it's gonna be shipped over to the gov. We just don't know what that's gonna be like.
You know what the timeline on that's gonna be? I mean, just the manpower.
We were hoping to have that done this spring, but because we managed the issue, John alluded to this earlier about the templates. Yeah. We found out that somebody wanted to build the templates themselves.
It's recreating the wheel.
Right, so then when we talked to Joe about building the templates, there ended up being some lags, and we had to try to follow up all that. They're actually working on that now. It's great that came on board. I found out that you did and some experience building that, so now I can really move this forward. I'm hoping late this summer.
Sounds good.
And also then B2 also, the new one will have a velocity on there. The reason for the cost is that's actually, because I asked for my contract at 40,000. And again, it won't be 40,000 every year, because that will actually come down to the initial cost with that switch over to pay loss. And it's just gonna be by payroll. Be for payroll. And then Westica is saying the same for 45. Tax collection, basically we left this pretty much at $800. I'm actually gonna be looking at this line item a little more closely this next year. I'm not sure exactly. This budget line item altogether. What possibly what cost we're actually using. Auditing, I'd say the same as 75,000. Where it's YouTube wrong, it should be 75,000. The OPED should come out, and the A133 should come out as well. Those should just be the 75,000 for annual audit and ACFR. Reports. And I don't anticipate a higher cost. Those subscriptions in here, as far as any subscriptions, anything I get for subscriptions is already paid for the memberships. Elavon, it's our credit card fees or window, budget $1,500. I'm actually looking at going out to our people this, to sure that our credit card fees don't.
Are we not combining those types of things with Parks and Rec?
No, Park and Rec has a
Different
has
fund.
revenue stream. It's different. They need to think they actually want to start being.
Okay.
Yeah, so we also, courts will also be going, looking at what Parks has as well. But
So if
we-
Global
we won't
gets
be able
you
to do
two departments, they might give everybody a better price.
Hopefully so.
Yeah.
That would be.
Mike,
What is our current average processing fee percentage that we're paying? Okay, thank you.
I'm hoping for audit assistance or any other, filings that will try to support that $50,000. Other than that, not going to be needed. I know that as we already used some of this year to fund contractor services from the former finance director in Brentwood, but not going to be needing the services after this year. So and again, that would be general capital. Printed materials, this goes into budget documents, checks, self-prints, checks, we pay, we're not participating. Rental licenses, printed letterhead, and that also just probably deposit tickets, which I thought was crazy because I would think that most of that stuff was free. And then 1099 forms, so you have to pay for it all. also the novel.
Keep going.
Okay.
Doesn't make sense, but keep going.
Postage, I think we just had to increase that a little bit, and also included another line for, in most of the federal express, we've done a couple times where we've had to send contracts with lead signatures on them. Especially the leasing one we did for our bus. We had a section to send that out with the lead signature, so, it's, and needed, so I budgeted to include that if needed, in the future. Office supplies. We actually get it part of the owner, but under the reason, hopefully that'll change too. With the, GFI, and then, office supplies, $1,000. Staff needs awesome. Equipage, $500, $500 for knee replace big calculator, we replace all of those top printer, something that's on repair. And then, miscellaneous during cost, I did pick that up, 200 to 500, because I'm going to buy, do my fleet, I increase it a little bit, my lunch or, don't.
Is the budget work session for this evening. And by the time we have our next budget, we will have all the books updated. We will have it all corrected. So if you'd like to leave your book here, you're more than welcome to. And then I will get them, if you want to put your initials on the inside on the first page. And I will get them corrected and updated and back to you.
Thank you. Evan, you did a great job.
Evan,
Yeah,
thank
great.
you.
You did a great job, Evan.
All of you did a good job on your departments too.
Yeah.
Everybody did a nice job on their departments.
I would like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move, Linda Lipton.
Second, another round of that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Eyes have it. We out of here.
We're at it. Later, Kaden.
Okay. I hate to mess up my front page.